Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's story starts in a place most people rush through without ever really seeing. A busy city street where wealth and poverty pass each leaves other every single day. Pretending not to notice one another, it was late afternoon, the kind of hour when the sun hangs low and turns the glass buildings golden. Traffic hummed, people checked their phones, and the city felt powerful and alive. Among all of that stood a man who owned more of that power than most people could imagine. His name was Adrian Cross, a billionaire known for ruthless deals, sharp instincts, and a life so protected that surprises rarely reached him. His schedule was always tight, his security always close, and his patience always thin. Adrian had just stepped out of a private meeting downtown. He was hungry, irritated, and running late. His assistant had ordered his favorite takeaway meal from an exclusive restaurant nearby. Something light, expensive, and prepared exactly to his taste. A black luxury car waited at the curb, door open, driver ready. As Adrian walked toward the car, the smell of food drifted through the air. His assistant handed him the neatly packed container, still warm. Adrian smiled faintly. Food was one of the few pleasures he still allowed himself without guilt, and then a small voice cut through the noise of the street. "Don't eat that." The words were sharp, desperate, and completely out of place. Adrian stopped mid. His security team reacted instantly, scanning the area, hands subtly shifting. His assistant froze. Adrian turned his head, annoyed more than alarmed. The voice belonged to a beggar girl sitting on the sidewalk just a few feet away. She couldn't have been more than 10 years old. Her clothes were worn and mismatched, too thin for the season. Her hair was messy, pulled back with a broken clip. Dirt smudged her cheeks, but her eyes were wide, intense, and locked directly onto Adrian. Most people avoided eye contact with beggars. Adrian usually did too. But this time, he didn't. "What did you say?" Adrian asked, his tone cold. The girl swallowed, clearly nervous. She glanced at the security guards, then back at him. "Don't eat that," she repeated, quieter now, but just as serious. Adrian let out a short laugh. "Move along," he said, waving his hand dismissively. "I'm not interested." His assistant leaned in. "Sir, we should go." Normally, Adrian would have, but something made him pause. Maybe it was the girl's trembling hands. Maybe it was the way she hadn't asked for money. Or maybe it was the look on her face, not greedy, not manipulative, but afraid, genuinely afraid. "Why?" Adrian asked suddenly. The girl hesitated, her lips pressed together. Because I saw the man." "What man?" Adrian snapped. "The one who touched your food," she said. The street noise seemed to dull for a moment. Adrian's assistant stiffened. "That's impossible. This food came straight from the restaurant." The girl shook her head quickly. "No." When the bag was on the bench, a man bumped into it. He opened it a little. He put something inside. Adrian felt irritation rising again. Scams came in many forms. Children were often used. He'd seen it all before. "You expect me to believe this?" he said flatly. The girl's eyes filled with tears, but she didn't cry. "I'm not lying," she whispered. "Please, don't eat it." One of the guards stepped forward. "Sir, we can replace the meal. It's nothing." Adrian looked down at the container in his hand. Logic told him this was nonsense. Paranoia was expensive, and he hated indulging it. But something about the girl's certainty unsettled him. He exhaled sharply. "Fine," he said. "Take it." The assistant looked relieved as he took the food away. "I'll order another." Adrian turned back to the girl. "Happy now?" She nodded slowly, relief washing over her face. "Why should I trust you?" Adrian asked. The girl shrugged. "You don't have to. I just didn't want you to die." The words hit harder than he expected. "What's your name?" he asked. "Lena," she replied. Adrian nodded once. "Security," he said quietly. "Check the food." The guards exchanged looks. One of them took the container to the side, opening it carefully. Minutes passed. Adrian watched the girl as she waited, hands clenched in her lap. Then one of the guards looked up. "Sir," he said, voice tense, "we found something." Adrian's stomach dropped. Inside the container, hidden beneath a folded layer of food, was a small, clear capsule, odorless, tasteless, lethal in the right dose. The street seemed to tilt. Adrian stared at the container, then slowly turned back to the girl. She was watching him, eyes wide again, as if bracing for his reaction. "You saved my life," he said quietly. She nodded, as if it were simply a fact. "How did you know what he did?" Adrian asked. Lena hugged her knees. "I watch people," she said. "When you live out here, you learn who's dangerous." Adrian felt something unfamiliar tighten in his chest. Gratitude, yes, but also shame. He reached into his pocket and pulled out his wallet. Thick, expensive. He held it out to her. "This is for you." Lena looked at the wallet, then shook her head. "I don't want that." Adrian frowned. "Why not?" "Because then you'll think that's all I wanted," she said. The answer stunned him. "What do you want?" he asked. She hesitated. "Food, for my little brother. And maybe, a place where he can sleep without being scared." The words landed softly, but their weight was enormous. Adrian straightened. "Where is your brother?" "Near the bridge," she said. "I told him to stay hidden." Adrian made a decision he would later realize changed everything. Come with me, he said. The guard stiffened instantly. Sir, I said come with me, Adrian repeated, his voice leaving no room for debate. Lena single quotes eyes widened. Are you going to call the police? No, Adrian said, I'm going to help you. She studied his face, searching for a lie. Then slowly, she stood. The car door closed behind them, sealing off the noise of the city. Lena sat stiffly, hands folded in her lap, eyes darting around the luxurious interior. Have you ever been in a car like this? Adrian asked. She shook her head. You're safe, he said, surprising himself with how much he meant it. They drove to a nearby restaurant, not takeaway, not rushed. Adrian ordered real food. More than enough. Lena ate cautiously at first, then with growing confidence. When he packed extra meals for her brother, her eyes shone. Afterward, Adrian insisted on going to the bridge. What he found there haunted him. Lena's brother was 6, thin, quiet, clutching a torn blanket. He looked at Adrian with fear, then relief when Lena ran to him. It's okay, she whispered. He's not bad. Adrian swallowed hard. That night, Adrian arranged for a hotel room. Nothing fancy, just clean, warm, safe. Lena kept asking when they'd have to leave. Not tonight. Adrian said. He didn't sleep much that night. The next days unfolded like something out of another life. Adrian used his influence to connect with social workers who didn't cut corners. Doctors checked the children. Counselors listened. No paperwork shortcuts. No publicity. Lena stayed quiet through most of it, watching him closely, as if waiting for the moment he'd disappear. But he DN's single quotes T. Weeks passed. Then months. Adrian visited often. He learned that Lena's parents had died in an accident. She had learned to survive too early, too fast. She had protected her brother with the fierceness of someone twice her age. One evening, as they sat together in a quiet park, Lena looked up at him. Did you eat the food? She asked. No, Adrian said. Good, she replied. Some people don't listen. Adrian smiled sadly. I almost didn't, but you saw me, she said simply. Those words stayed with him. A year later, Adrian stood in front of a crowd, launching a foundation focused on food safety, child protection, and street outreach. Reporters asked why. Adrian didn't mention poison, or fear, or death. He talked about listening. About how the smallest voices sometimes see the biggest dangers. Lena and her brother watched from the side, healthy, safe, laughing softly at something only they understood. As Adrian looked at them, he knew one thing for certain. The most powerful moment of his life wasn't signing a billion-dollar deal. It was the moment he chose to listen to a beggar girl who said, don't eat that, because sometimes the warning that saves you doesn't come from power, money, or status. Sometimes it comes from the street. And all it asks of you is to listen.